Good morning and good afternoon. This is Gina Tragus from Arcserve, and on behalf of our presenters, I would like to welcome you to this special webcast. This marks the launch of the new Arcserve Unified Data Protection Appliance 7000 series, and we're thrilled that you're here with us today. Presenting on this webcast will be Christophe Bertrand, the Vice President of Product Marketing, with a special guest, Ian Richardson, the founder and CEO of Doberman Technologies, an MSP partner of Arcserve. I would like to point out a few features we have on this webcast that you can utilize. First, if you have any questions for our presenters today, you can submit them through the Questions tab located at the top of your screen at any time during this webcast. We will do our best to answer these questions during the next hour, but if we don't get to yours, we'll be sure to get back to you with answers after the presentation is complete. So please don't be shy and ask any questions you have. We also ask that you rate this presentation at the end and leave any feedback that you think necessary. You can rate by clicking the Rate button, also located at the top of your screen. Lastly, the slides presented on this webcast will be available on the Arcserve SlideShare channel immediately following the webcast. Okay, at this time, I would like to turn the presentation over to Christophe Bertrand. Take it away, Christophe.
Thank you, Gina. Hello, everyone. It's a real pleasure, real honor to have you on the call today. We have quite an announcement for you. I'm sure you've seen some of the news and some of the press coverage already, but we are very proud to announce the Arcserve Unified Data Protection Appliance. This is a great new solution that we're going to give you a lot of details about. And more importantly, joining me today a little later in this presentation is a very special guest who has tried the product, has played with it, can give you a lot of feedback, and has a ton of experience. So just stay tuned for our partner Doberman Technologies to give us a little more detail in terms of how they've been able to do some pretty interesting things with this appliance. First of all, I want to say this is really more than just an evolution of what you can expect from a traditional purpose-built backup appliance. What we have here is a true revolution, and you'll see why in the next few slides. A ton of technology. We're running the UDP technology on this appliance, and we've created a solution that is not only easy to use and simple to deploy, but extremely comprehensive in terms of feature functions and very, very efficient because of the technologies that we bring to the table. So we'll give you some details on the models, the pricing, and the feature set. So specifically, I want to talk to you about the market, what we're seeing, why we're doing this, and what we see as the keys to success. We'll talk about the features and the capabilities of the UDP 7000 series appliance. You'll see that we have essentially three basic models with a couple of variations, and I really want to talk to you about that in detail. I'll provide you some highlights of the specs as well, because, hey, this is hardware. This is something that really is important to cover. And we'll have Doberman Technologies telling us more about their experience trying the beta of the appliance. So we are announcing this product today. We will have this product available in early March. So in early March timeframe, we'll be shipping this product, and you can call us now if you want to place orders. We're ready for business. So a very exciting time again for us. Arcserve has been independent for 6 months or so, and we've worked very hard with the products team, not only to give you an update of UDP in the past couple of months, but also to create this solution to really provide more options for our end users and for our partners to build some great data protection infrastructures. So let's get into the market a little bit. And some of you may ask yourselves, okay, so why are you doing an appliance? And of course, there is there are lots of good reasons for that. Number one, we see that it's a great adjacent market to our core business. We're in a software business. We're a sales and marketing company, but we're a software company. And it makes perfect sense that we'd go expand our routes to market and provide an appliance. There is a lot of demand for it, and we think this is going to be, again, an option that we can provide to our customers and partners so that they have more options to deploy powerful, simple, and affordable data protection solutions that run UDP. So what's interesting, though, and it's very important to understand that so that you understand what we've created and what we're really changing the game here, is the fact that typically when you think about an appliance, you think about really what I call the retrofitted software and hardware bundled together, and okay, let's put a sticker on that and call it a backup appliance. Well, there's a lot more that meets the eye. Our UDP technology was designed really for an appliance type of model. It does extremely well on traditional server deployments, but it's also great on the appliances, you'll see in a minute. The other thing is, when you think about appliances when it comes to data protection, so there's the dedupe appliance, and these have been in the market for a while. I think they've really been a great band-aid to a fundamental problem, which was the explosion of backup data and the storage requirements that were becoming impossible to manage. But there's a better way today to do deduplication. So as you look at this appliance, the UDP appliance, you'll see that we provide also a great solution for this use case, which is that of deduplication appliance. But there's more. There is an emergence of new types of appliances that we see in the market today, and we also provide a great solution with the UDP appliance. So in many ways, it's an all-in-one solution, and it runs the powerful UDP technology. And, you know, we understand the market. We know that price is important. We know that cost is important. So we've created a solution that is extremely well positioned, we believe, and we certainly hope that you will agree with us. So let's get into a little bit more about the market, and I just want to talk here about the views of an analyst firm called ESG. I'm sure you know them. They're well known. They've been around for a long time, and they've done a lot of work and research on the data protection market. And their view, and this is the view of Jason Buffington, who is an analyst focused on the data protection market at ESG, their view is, as I was explaining, that the traditional type of appliances are really being now complemented, if not replaced to some extent, by other offerings. And it turns out that our Arcserve UDP appliance not only fits the backup appliance requirements. Of course, you're going to use it to protect your data, but it's also because of its built-in replication, its built-in virtual standby capabilities, a great failover and BCDR type of solution. That's very important and very powerful. Gives you a lot more agility, but more importantly, it also allows you to connect to the cloud. So if you're in a hybrid deployment or you want to put some of your data in the cloud, we have all the connectors built in, and this appliance will even take this to the next level. The other thing is, with the UDP technology, if you're not familiar with it, we have also, in addition to built-in availability features and built-in replication, we have global source-side deduplication. That makes it a great deduplication appliance as well. Now, it's not the traditional one. It's not a target dedupe appliance, but it's also something that we can talk about in more details later. The point is that what you have here is a great solution that can really cover a wide variety of use cases, which very likely you are in need of today or will be in need of soon, simply because we still are facing this explosion of data. We still need to improve the data protection infrastructure, and this needs to be done with a very complete feature set. So with this in mind, let's talk a little bit about the appliance, and let me introduce you to it. And there are some very, very important things that we're innovating with here. First of all, we are adding to the UI of UDP, which was already very easy to use. We're adding, for this appliance, a wizard that allows you to really set up the system very easily. Our objective, our design point, was to have you essentially up and running with your first backup in 15 minutes or so. Now, we'll hear more from Doberman Technologies, and you'll see that there is definitely some fantastic opportunity here to be very efficient with this wizard and to get things done very quickly. Beyond just the GUI and the wizard, we've also added some new capabilities in terms of reporting and a great dashboard that gives you a view of the environment and what's going on with your data protection. Again, a very powerful tool to make you a lot more efficient as an end user and understand what's going on in the environment. Let's talk a little bit about what the appliance is and has. So we have, first of all, as some of you will remember, UDP was designed with, because of its global deduplication, with the concept that we would definitely extend traditional memory with SSDs in order to optimize performance of global deduplication. So by design, we include SSDs in our design from a software perspective. And of course, in the appliance, you will see that each of the appliance models that we are going to be shipping includes an SSD layer. And that's a very important fact because it's definitely a differentiator. It's not an afterthought. It's something that comes by design. I will cover the capacities because there is always a lot more that meets the eye when vendors talk about capacity. But just know that we'll have 3 models in terms of sizes and a couple of variations. And we can target environments ranging from 0 to over 20 terabytes in source data. And that's because of our great and very efficient source side deduplication. In this appliance, we have all of the capabilities that UDP includes. So you get the same feature function set. As a matter of fact, it is totally interoperable with a UDP environment. So if you have a traditional deployment of UDP today, and you think, well, wouldn't it be great if I could have an appliance in a couple of locations, for example, no problem. We fit into the UDP schema because it's UDP. So we're not forcing you into one form factor. We allow you to really deploy the technology as you see fit for your requirements. So let's talk a little bit more about what we have from a functionality perspective. So as you know, first of all, UDP is a very complete solution. It has a great number of capabilities that you can access through a very simple and easy to use GUI. Really, when you think about it, UDP is like an SLA dial. It allows you to create data protection plans for your environment that are really customized to the service level agreements that you want to have for certain applications. So critical apps will be protected very likely better than less critical applications or systems. We provide a full set of features with, as I talked about earlier, global deduplication, the fact that we support virtual environments in a very, very complete way, as well as physical environments, which is certainly something that allows you to have just one solution for all of your platforms. We have optimized replication from a WAN perspective and provide replication built in. That's another great differentiator for our solution. And we support a wide variety of platforms and applications that you will typically run in your environment. Whether we're talking about Exchange or SQL, or you can see many other environments are listed here. So many, many ways to protect your environment, but more importantly, very simple ways to restore your data, whether you want to restore a file or a number of files or a whole system. So we've really simplified and automated a lot of the complex mechanisms behind restoring systems and data. This makes it, again, a very, very easy to use software. So combined with the appliance form factor and what we've done with this solution, you really have a very powerful solution that you can deploy, again, in many different ways. So let's talk a little bit about data deduplication, and let's talk about performance and efficiency. One of the things that is very important to us in terms of technology and to you as an end user or a partner selling our solution is the fact that we have global source side deduplication. What that means is that we can protect a lot of source data without necessarily having to send all of that data over the wire to the target appliance. We actually dedupe data at the source. And we do this in a way that's very efficient, so it doesn't bog down your nodes or the systems you're deduping, because all of the workload, all of the real hard work happens on the appliance or the server. So fundamentally, we can achieve great compression or great reduction of data that way, because once we've backed up, say, your hypervisor environment or hypervisor OS, we don't need to back it up again. We have that data already. We'll just understand that the next system has it too, but we won't need to transfer that data over and over again. The same applies to files and many other types of data. So what you're seeing here on the screen is actually a screenshot from a dashboard from a real customer. We've been extremely successful with UDP. Thank you so much for supporting this product. I mean, it's been sold in thousands in the past few months. It was introduced last year in May, and we have many customers, existing Arcserve customers, new customers, and what I can tell you is that the results we're seeing in terms of the efficiency of the deduplication are just real. They're here. You can take a look at these, and this is something that you need to just keep in mind as we go through the discussion about the models and capacities, and how this really has a tremendous amount of impact on how much data you can protect with the UDP appliances. So again, this is real data. We're not making this up. This is not a marketing slide. This is what we see every day in the field. So lots of efficiencies here. So understanding data growth is very important. Even if you have great data deduplication, capacities on any appliance, and certainly on our appliance, are finite, which means that you need to really understand your data growth patterns. So, we hear a lot of vendors talk about their deduplication and how great it is, and et cetera, et cetera. And some of these claims may not be very realistic. What we've done is we have armed ourselves and our field and our partners with a great storage estimator. I believe this will be made available also on our website very shortly. So you can really go and figure and plan how much storage you're going to need in terms of UDP protected data or data store. The point being is that in some cases, you will keep a lot of retention points, and that's the way if that's the way you want to do this, that's fantastic, no problem, we understand that. However, you have to understand that the more retention points you keep or restore points, the more space you're going to use, and it's just a matter of understanding it. So what we want to do is make sure we set the right expectations with you, our end users, and through you, our partners, so that we set the right expectation and we sell and provide the right solution and the right capacity to our end users. So just know that it's available. We have great tools, and we want to absolutely make sure that your expectations are met and exceeded with the UDP technology. Let's talk about some deployment scenarios. And I apologize for this slide that should be a build, but it's just easier to show it already built up on this platform here today. Let me start at the top right where it says primary site. There are so many things you can do with a UDP appliance. Of course, you can, as I said, mix and match with a traditional UDP software deployment. But one of the things that we believe will resonate with many customers is the fact that you can use truly as your backup system in one site. So whether you're backing up physical systems, desktops, laptops, virtual environments, we can take care of that with the UDP appliance. It's really a set and forget system. You get it running, it's going to allow you to start your backups in the first 15 or 20 minutes of you deploying it. And it's got some great options. Depending on the model, you can also benefit from a tape out option. So if you have tapes in your environment, or you want to send tapes for long-term retention to a third-party provider, the appliance allows you to do that. So again, lots of experience in that space, and a great system that you can have if you have one site, you want to protect it with an easy system. Maybe you don't have all of the IT staff to support a more complex backup environment. This is the product for you. And by the way, it still retains all of the capabilities of UDP and the powerful features that we offer. Now, you could also be in a situation, as we look at the remote office or branch office quadrant, where you have a centralized site and you have a number of subsidiaries, number of branch offices, and you really want to make sure that not only you capture data there, but also what you can do with the UDP appliance is share through the global deduplication all of the data, so you never back up data twice, and you can replicate very easily because it's built in. You can replicate between the sites. That gives you a great way to provide for disaster recovery capabilities in your branch offices, as for example, and you can also manage through our management console all of these appliances and nodes in your environment from a centralized point. Now, you could also be in a situation where you are or want to work with a managed service provider. They do the backups for you, and it's funny that we should have this use case here, and you'll hear a little more from Government Technologies in a minute. You'll see how in their business that's what they do. So you could easily have someone take care of your data, drop an appliance in your environment, allowing you to protect the data, send it to the service provider's data center, where they can not only take care of your data, protect your data, but also, as needed, help you recover it and provide that service for you. So that's another use case. And of course, we have here with UDP and with the appliance the ability to protect your data in a public or private cloud. It's available today, but it's going to get better. You should log in again in the spring time frame. We'll have another announcement for you. We'll talk more about that later, but we are going to work on additional services for you that are cloud-based, cloud-related, and Arcserve branded. Just know that today, with UDP and the appliance, you can go leverage your Amazon, your Azure. You can see the list here. If you want to have a hybrid type of data protection infrastructure and send some data off to the cloud or recover from the cloud. So again, a very powerful appliance that is literally a cloud gateway, as it is a backup appliance, a dedupe appliance, and a BCDR appliance. Let's talk about models and pricing. This is the slide I know you've been waiting for, so let's go ahead and cover this. First of all, I want to walk you through the models at the top. You can see they are the 7100, 7200, and 7300. There is a variation. Some of them have the V next to them, and let me explain what that is. We have great technology in UDP, and one of the things we do extremely well is leverage virtual standby capabilities and allow you to run essentially virtual standby machines on the appliance. Our V models include 3 virtual standby machines. Your mileage may vary. You could actually maybe even have more. It depends on the size of the machines. But we want to be conservative here and set the expectations accordingly and make sure there's no surprise. So we believe that very comfortably 3 virtual standby machines can be hosted on those V models. They include extra memory, a different CPU to be able to perform these functions and keep the performance of the data protection environment at the highest possible level. So that's why you see a price difference, and that's why you see a model difference. So this is a great advantage. Really gives you built in this idea of having a near availability type of solution. Should anything come up with one of the key systems you've protected, you can have a virtual machine on standby, ready to go, ready to recover the last snapshot, last backup, and getting you back on your feet in a matter of minutes. In many environments, you don't have the luxury of waiting an hour or more. It's about minutes, and we can do that with the V built in, the virtual standby built in. Now let's talk about the capacities. There's a lot, again, of noise around capacity in the industry and what's raw versus usable versus what it really means for me. So let me net it out for you. Raw storage capacity is what it is. It's pretty self-explanatory. We have 3 models, 3, 6, and 9. However, depending on the technology that is used on an appliance, you will have more or less usable backup capacity. That is, storage capacity that you can put backup data on after you've paid your dues, meaning after you've used up some storage capacity for software or other services. In our case, you can see that the usable backup capacity is very close to the raw because we have a very small footprint and we need a little space for the software services. And I think that makes perfect sense. It's just a very low number, as you can see. What's more interesting is how much can you really protect with that capacity that you have on the system? That's really the question that matters, right? Remember, with the global source size deduplication, what we can do is literally squeeze 3 times, sometimes more, the capacity that we have on the system into it. So, for example, on the 3 terabyte system, we could have an 8 terabyte source environment. Now, again, I will go back to the previous conversation we had about understand your data growth, understand your data. Your mileage will vary. We'll help you figure it out, and there may be, different scenarios depending on the type of data you have. But based on our experience, based on our technology, based on what we've seen, we feel very comfortable with these numbers, which means that, for example, a 7200 can protect up to 17 terabyte source data. Again, depending on the retention schema, or depending on the type of data that you have in your environment. But this is very powerful because that means you can really take care of a pretty big amount of source data. Thanks to the dedupe in place, you can really squeeze that into a much smaller footprint from a storage standpoint. So when you hear other vendors talk about, hey, my system is X amount of terabytes or whatever the case is, look closely. How much do you really need to do that dedupe, especially for those vendors that do target dedupe? We've seen vendors that have to essentially use up half of their raw storage capacity just to be able to do dedupe. We don't have to do this because of the fact that we do it source side. Anyway, you have the information here. There's a great spec sheet on our website. So go to the arcserve.com website, look for the product section, the appliance page, and you will find additional specifications on the various models we have. So 7100 is the entry model. I'll give you a little more details about it. 7200, 7300, and the V for virtual standby machines on appliance. Just built in, nothing else to license for, nothing else to pay. This is backup as much as you can on the appliance. There is no extra licensing required once you've got the appliance. As long as there is capacity on the appliance to host the backup dedupe data, you can keep going. As I look at the specifications, and this is the obligatory eye chart when you sell appliances, and again, it's available on the website, please note that there are some slight variations depending on the models. We have specifically for the 7200 and 7300 the option to have a tape out capability, so you can connect the tape system to it. The 7100 does not offer it. And then in terms of hard drives, we use SATA RAID 1 for the 7100, and we use SAS RAID 5 for 7300. This is based on your feedback, based on our research, and designed to meet the requirements of the markets and the requirements we've heard from our customers and prospects. You can also see the various details of power and weights and specifications there. So again, a lot of detail in this chart that you can certainly take a look at your leisure. It's an easy download on the arcserve.com website. So to summarize, and before we go into a very exciting part of the webcast, the UDP 7000 appliance has a lot of differentiation when you compare it to other solutions out there. Number one, it's easy to set up. It's got a very efficient deduplication capability that is really amplified through the use of SSDs, which are built in the appliance. So again, this is by design. This is not an afterthought like we've seen other vendors do. We have full support for virtualized environments, lots and lots of capabilities, really top of the crowd on this one. So please take a close look at our support matrix. We have built-in replication with efficiency built in for one type of network. So really, it's a great solution for either cross-protecting two sites, or for going to a backup site, or for working with a managed service provider who will host your data and help you in case of trouble, in times of trouble. The on-appliance virtual standby capability, 3 virtual standby machines, that's a great advantage. It's more than the competition, and we think this is a great feature to really give you a much better ability to be back on your feet should anything happen. I talked about the off-site options and the fact that we can also help you connect to your cloud provider. as well as replicate data from branch offices or to other sites. So lots of permutations and combinations that really should allow you to fit your requirements from a data protection standpoint. And no additional licenses are required in an Arcserve UDP software deployment. So again, perfect scenario would be if you decide, if you have a number of branch offices, for example, you want to drop in an appliance, it will fit right into the UDP backup schema. Nothing else is needed. So I know there are a number of questions. I can see them growing by the minute, and now take care of those at the end of the presentation, but just know that we are keeping an eye on them. So at this time, I would like to introduce Ian Richardson. He is the founder and CEO of Doberman Technologies. So Ian, I'll turn it over to you, and I think we'll have a little chat about your experience, but please tell us a little more about yourself and about your business.
Hey, Christophe. Thanks for the introduction, and thank you all for being on the webinar today. I've been in IT for 11 years and hold a multitude of industry certs from Microsoft and Cisco, and I got started in disaster recovery really about year number 2. I had a production environment completely fail based off of a different product line, and so it's been kind of a passion of mine for the past 11, 12 years now, making sure that I can do absolute recovery for my client base. We can go to the next slide, please. And Doberman is my firm. We founded in 2005, and we are an IT managed solution provider. MSPs are kind of the wave of the future, in my opinion. We focus on trying to bring an enterprise-grade IT department to the small business market. We define that as about 150 seats or less, and our specialization is in HIPAA compliance. For those of you who aren't familiar, HIPAA is a federal regulation about privacy and portability of information, and one of the key requirements in that federal code is you must be able to recover data, and the key word being must. And that's really what's driven our practice at Doberman for about the past 4 to 5 years. We've been experimenting again and again and again with software solutions before we came across Arcserve about 2 years ago, and we haven't looked anywhere else since. Our primary challenges day to day is ensuring that all of our clients have secure, reliable, and absolute 100% business continuity in their day-to-day operations. And you can go to the next slide.
Sure. So, Ian, before we go into the discussion of the appliance, can you maybe share a couple of stories from the trenches that you've seen and how you've been using UDP as software in the past few months?
Oh, sure. So when we got the announcement about UDP last year, we actually flew down to Florida for the grand announcement, and when we heard about it, I was extremely excited. We came from the D2D line, and UDP has changed the way that we're able to operate as a solution provider. So we use UDP everywhere, including our own data center, and the number one aspect of it is the software is so smooth for setup and recovery. We're able to use interns for critical disasters. I've had a guy on his second week go do a BMR successfully, and you just can't say that with some of the other products out there.
Okay, so new guy, 2 weeks in the job, does a BMR with UDP. Well, that's pretty impressive. Excellent. That's really great news. I know the team. I can tell you the product teams have spent a lot of time perfecting this capability. So it's great to hear that it's working for you. So yeah, let's move on to your experience with the appliance. And my first question is really, okay, you essentially are an MSP. You put together software and hardware and lots of services for your partners. Why use an appliance in your business? Why would it make sense?
Well, again, kind of going to me picking on interns, it's about scalability. So We've done a lot of different endeavors when it comes to trying to effectively scale out business continuity solutions. And when we got the appliance, we were able to get it up and running in a production site during production in about 30-45 minutes, and that's from getting the box into the building, into the rack, fully up to date on their network, and the agent deployed everywhere in the plan created. And then all we were waiting for was to do the first production backup post hours, just so that we wouldn't have any sort of performance hit during that initial big full backup. And the space savings, even over just properly configured D2D, were night and day, because this was an existing client, and we said, hey, we're gonna upgrade you. We're gonna put in this new appliance. It's got these neat things we can do. Let's go ahead and try to do that. So being able to go out there and have someone who has little to no experience with backup technologies, little to no experience with server technologies, just a tier 1 desktop type of guy, and say, hey, go roll this out. It's a project that makes them feel good and accomplishes something so valuable. And it's just scalability, Christoph. You know, we're bringing on 3 to 4 sites every month. I don't have that type of time to build out my own appliances and image and install and test and stress test versus just grab something out of the box, hour later, move on with my day.
Wow, perfect. Yeah, that sounds great. So it sounds like your interns are going to get busy with the appliance, right?
Yeah. Well, not too busy. It's only an hour.
That's right. That's many customers in a day. So tell me a little bit more about your overall experience. You were part of so for full disclosure, you were part of the beta program. We sent you an appliance and essentially had someone observe, or not even actually what you did. I think you did it yourself without even us being there. So tell us about your experience and specifically maybe what you thought of the wizard and some of the features that you've identified on the appliance.
Absolutely. So we got the appliance, and we recorded our setup. We were on a call with one of our technical principal consultants over there that we know very well, and it went about as smooth as you could hope for a beta program to go. It came up just fine, deployed the agents fine, detected old versions of D2D and did successful upgrades fine. The wizard was easy to use. So it's through that experience, being able to have my hands on this and being able to have an intern with me and say, okay, intern, you're going to drive this. I'm here to bail you out. But being able to walk through this appliance and see this come all together in the span of just a simple hour was really the determining factor for me in how we're going to pursue business continuity for the remainder of our clients. And after this call, everyone can kind of wait on hold after me because I'm the first one in the sales queue.
So this is great. And Ian, do you have any? So we have on this call today, we have combination of end users, we have some partners, we have essentially people with businesses just like yours. So what would be your recommendations for end users and maybe for some of our partners who are considering the appliance?
Sure. So with end users, what's really nice about the appliance is the fact that there's going to be a maintenance plan. So the appliance is easy to set up, it's easy to get reporting on, it's easy to get metrics. Is this working? Am I being backed up? Am I safe? So you can get this installed with very little technical help. But the goal is that if you get into a situation and you're panicked because you have had a disaster and your server is down and you suddenly forgot everything, if you're on one of the maintenance plans, you can pick up the phone or you can go to a website and someone can walk you through what you need to do to stage yourself up through virtual standby or what you need to do to get a bare metal recovery started up so you're not out in the woods. And on the other end of the coin, for the partners, this is so easy to deploy and make an effective piece of your managed service practice for years we were using backups and business continuity as a loss leader. We were not making money. We were losing money on the active management. We were losing money on the deployments. And we were losing money month to month. But we had to do it because if someone goes down and has data loss on your watch, you're the one footing the bill no matter what you try to say about any sort of situation. So having something that's very rapidly deployed, very technically non-complicated, you don't have to tie up your tier 3 engineers with it. You can have general help desk people be managing the backups day to day, be deploying new backups to new servers, be deploying the appliances themselves. You don't have to have any high-level, high-dollar resources dedicated to it. It becomes a no-brainer when it comes to the return on investment.
Well, thank you, and that's definitely money straight in the bank and great margins right there. So very pleased to hear that this is something you'll be considering for the future. So I'm sure we'll get some questions, so we'll reserve them or save them for a few minutes from now at the end of this presentation. Thank you so much for your feedback, for your the details on your experience, and certainly we're very pleased that you're pleased. So thank you very much, Ian, again.
Absolutely.
So Ian mentioned support, and I just have a couple of quick final slides to talk about the support we have in place here for you and the type of programs we are going to offer with the UDP 7000 Appliance. So there is a warranty on the system. It's up to 3 years. And there are some extended warranty options. This is hardware, so for some of you who know us as a software company, well, of course, we have here all of the support and maintenance programs adapted to hardware. So just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. We have certainly spent a lot of time planning for these, and we want to make sure that we satisfy our customers as they and partners as they deploy these systems should anything come up. You can see here the details on the slide, so I'm not going to go into a lot of details at this point. Just know that we have invested resources and we have the right type of focus here to make sure that should anything come up, we'll be right there for you. And what we have is a couple of options for you. We provide two options, a gold maintenance and a platinum maintenance program. So the gold maintenance gives you essentially next business day on-site hardware support. Just want to point out again, at this point I'm talking about the North American territory here. This appliance is available first in North America. So for other geos, we'll have separate release dates, and we'll keep you informed. And of course, it's platinum maintenance, which gives you a 4-hour window here for hardware, essentially on-site hardware support, and 24/7. So support here. So parts can come to you in 4 hours and 24/7 should you have to be on the call in the middle of the night, which we certainly hope you won't have to. So in terms of software upgrades, these come with the maintenance packages. So of course, access to software support and software upgrades. So every time the next great version of UDP comes out, we will have some upgrade capabilities and mechanisms for you for the appliance. So for more details, as you engage with us, just don't hesitate. Ask for more specific details on the SKUs and the cost for these programs. But just know that they are very important. They're available, and we certainly want you to leverage them. So, in summary, and before we go into the Q&A session, I just wanted to remind you that the UDP 7000 is announced today, is available in the March timeframe. We will have it. We're ready to take orders, so if you want to call us and reserve your appliance, please go ahead. We are ready to help you. We have a great product. We have a solution that not only fits the traditional backup appliance model, but really does a lot more. It's a connector, a gateway connector to the cloud. It is a BCDR solution and appliance because of the replication and great virtual standby capabilities that it brings to the table. It's also a dedupe appliance because by definition, in its nature, by design, UDP has global source-side dedupe, which makes it a very, very efficient solution. So lots of support for virtualization, virtualized environments. Again, please take a look at the capabilities we offer. We have one of the best set of features available in the market today. Great efficiency in terms of deduplication, replication over a wide area network, and the ability for you, because of this built-in replication, to really configure and design an environment that allows you to take data and replicate it to recovery sites or get some data from remote sites into your data center or branch offices, whatever the case may be. So lots of options. A great new setup wizard that complements the existing GUI, a new UDP admin dashboard to let you know what's going on with your backup environment. And you've heard it from Ian Richardson today. This is true, this is real, and this is something that gives you a ton of ease of use and ease of deployment. So at this point, Gina, I'd like to turn it back over to you for a minute.
Okay, thank you, Christophe and Ian. As we move into this Q&A session, please feel free to continue submitting your questions via the Ask a Question tab that's at the top of your screen.
Thank you, Gina. So we have a ton of questions. Let me start with a few. Can you upgrade from a 7200 to 700V? So, okay, so at this point, no, there is no field upgrade type of package or kit. You buy a 7200 or you buy a 7200V. The V model has a different, has more memory and a different processor. So essentially, you have to make the decision before you purchase the system whether you want a virtual standby option on it. So that was a good question. Let me look. Can you back up desktops to the appliance as well? Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to try to take as many questions as I can and keep us on time here. How do you scale to support customers with hundreds of terabytes? Well, that's a very good question. I have a couple of answers. Number one, we're positioning this solution for environments up to about 25, 26 terabytes, depending on the model you use. If you use a 7300 source data, we think comfortably 25 to 6 terabytes we can cover. Now, it depends how you set up your environment. If you have multiple sites that will have their own data protection schema and their own UDP appliance without necessarily sharing into the global deduplication across all of these sites, you could certainly multiply those systems. The other thing is we are just getting started. So for the larger environments, in the future, in the next few quarters, you will see us come out with larger systems that can handle larger environments, like mid-market type of environments or small enterprise. So we're not there today, but we will be in the future. So let me keep looking. I apologize. I'm looking at the questions as they come in. So I want to be clear. This is for North America, so this is North America only at this point. Where can I buy the parts? Well, that's an easy one. You can contact us, and we will essentially work with you to determine with which of our partners to work and to get the appliance into your environment. Who makes the hardware? That's a good question. So we work with a partner, a third-party company that is very experienced in making appliances and these type of systems and have not only all of the mechanisms in place, but have done this for many, many, many years, and will also be a great global partner as we roll this out into other geos. We I'm not going to disclose the name today, but just know that they are very, very reliable. They've been a fantastic partner to work with, and we are not making the hardware ourselves, if that's the question you're asking. We're a software company, and we've observed, we've seen what can happen when you go into a business that's not your core business. The core business is software, and we work with a great partner for the hardware that is helping us with all of the aspects, logistics, parts, etc., and system design associated with a hardware component here. Is there a demo program? Yes, there is a try and buy program, absolutely. So please get in touch with your Arcserve partner or with us, and we'll route you to the right, guide you to the right partner. We will have a try and buy program, so please engage with us. There are some requirements that the sales team can discuss with you, but we will be making the appliance available on a try and buy basis, absolutely. So, okay, so a question about, a couple of questions actually, well, 2 or 3 questions about competition. All right, so how do we compare to other vendors? So let's talk about that. We believe we have a very complete set of features. We are more complete than other vendors that you will see out there in terms of feature set. You know, if you look at competitors for us, such as Dell, Unitrans, and you know, we believe we have more features to offer, more capabilities, more automation in terms of recovery, for example, great support for platforms. I think what you're seeing here is the next generation of data protection appliances, and we have, I think, something that will be a lot easier to deploy than many other solutions out there. What we've done for you is we've provided some view on our capabilities and how we compare on our website. So if you go to arcserve.com, in the competitive section, you will see there's a section on appliance that we have just updated and uploaded that gives you a very simple table with how we compare ourselves based on our analysis, which is itself based on hundreds of parameters we've researched and studied to build our product. So you'll see how we compare with the vendor of your choice. It's a first selection. We'll probably be adding a few more as we move forward, but just know that we have some solution that is, in terms of feature functions, we believe more complete than other vendors here today in the SMB and low end of the mid-market space. Okay, well, that's a good one. If we don't currently have UDP software, would we have to buy that first, or is it included in the price of the appliance? Yes, I may have covered this question actually in the course of the presentation, but just to reiterate, this is it's all included. So when you purchase the appliance, you can set it up in your environment and back up as many nodes and as much data as the appliance will hold, and that's something we can help you figure out with our storage calculator, and you can do that through our partners as well. So no additional licensing required. You buy the appliance, it's all you need. Okay, and I think we'll take maybe another one real quick. How do I get the calculator? Well, somebody was interested in it. So the calculator will be made available to our pre-sales and team and to our partners as they engage with you. If you're an end user, in terms of you know, sizing up the environment, we'll also, I believe, we'll have this available very soon on our website. So you'll have the ability to input some of the parameters that would help us then determine the right type of storage requirements and therefore the right type of appliance model, or whether you're doing this in a software deployment, same calculator would apply if you're going to build your own server and storage infrastructure yourself. Okay, so how much is each unit? How much for support 24? Okay, so I provided earlier in the presentation the price list. So that was mentioned. Please engage with us for details on the SKUs, depending on your model, and the price. The list price is available there, and there's also there are SKUs for support as well. The best way to answer this question is to please go ahead and go back to the replay. You'll see the list price for the base models. But again, if you have more specific questions in terms of supporting the various options we have there for maintenance, please engage with our Arcserve partners or call us directly and we'll help you out and route you to the right people to give you the details you need. But again, don't hesitate. We certainly are ready for you anytime. I think that's all I have time for at this point. There are a few other questions that I haven't answered, and I'd like to make sure that we do through FAQs and documents like this. So please stay tuned. We'll be adding some collateral and some documents on our website. We will also communicate through our partners some of these FAQs. So there will be lots of details there. Any question you may have regarding with whom to work in terms of Arcserve partners, again, call us. We'll route you to the right partner. We're certainly, very, very committed to our partner channel. We're 100% channel, so but we're more than happy to get you on the phone and help you, again, guide you to the right person. I would like at this stage to thank Ian again for his fantastic contributions to this webcast today. Thank you for all of your questions. Many, many questions, too many for me to answer. I think we have well over 60 questions. Thank you for attending this webcast. It will be available on replay, and I'm going to turn it over to Gina to give you all of those details.
Yes, thank you, Christophe. Before signing out, please remember to rate this webcast and send us your feedback by the rate button at the top of your screen. This webcast will be available on demand immediately after ending in case you missed anything, and these slides are now available for download on the Arcserve SlideShare channel. Thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to speaking with you again soon.